In this video, we'll be taking a look at two college football games happening on October 7, 2022, and providing you with team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these two college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Nebraska versus Rutgers. Nebraska will try to build on its win over Indiana when it faces Rutgers in a road game on Friday night. The Cornhuskers bounced back from a 2-game losing streak with their 35-21 win over Indiana, marking the first win for interim coach Mickey Joseph. Rutgers won its first 3 games of the season, but its offense has been limited in back-to-back losses to Iowa and number 3 Ohio State. The Nebraska Cornhuskers haven't won a road game since December 2020. Casey Thompson is completing 65.3% of his passes for 1,265 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Trey Palmer and Marcus Washington have combined for 693 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, while Isaiah Garcia Castaneda has 5 receptions. The Nebraska Cornhuskers ground game is averaging 177.8 yards per contest, and Anthony Grant leads the way with 600 yards and 5 touchdowns. Defensively, Nebraska is allowing 33 points and 469.2 yards per game. Luke Reamer leads the Nebraska Cornhuskers with 44 tackles. Garrett Nelson has 3 sacks, and Marks Buford Jr. has 2 interceptions. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights have lost 5 of their last 6 home games. Evan Simon is completing 60.2% of his passes for 640 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Aaron Cruikshank and Sean Ryan have combined for 286 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, while Johnny Langan has 11 receptions. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights ground game is averaging 168 yards per contest, and Samuel Brownby leads the way with 210 yards and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, Rutgers is allowing 24 points and 283.4 yards per game. Christian Izien leads the Rutgers Scarlet Knights with 37 tackles. Tyreen Powell has 3 sacks, and Robert Longerbeam has 2 interceptions. The Cornhuskers are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 Friday games and 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games overall. The Scarlet Knights are 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 home games and 2-5-1 against the spread in their last 8 games overall. The under is 8-3-1 in Cornhuskers' last 12 road games. The over is 4-1 in Scarlet Knights' last 5 home games. The road team is 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 meetings. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights look to end their 2-game losing skid on Friday night when they welcome in the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Rutgers is still in search of their first conference victory of 2022, but it doesn't help that they've played Iowa and Ohio State to begin the slate. Even still, the Scarlet Knights' pass defense has been tremendous this season and actually just limited C.J. Stroud to 13-22 for 154 yards. As for the Cornhuskers, they come into this one at 2-3 after their first victory over an FBS opponent in Indiana last time out. They still had an astonishing 12 penalties for 111 yards in that game and have won the turnover battle in only 1 contest so far this campaign. Unlike their opponent here, Nebraska's defense has been their Achilles heel up to this point, as they rank near the bottom of the FBS in most statistical categories on a per-game basis. With Rutgers' offense being so dreadful to begin this season, they'll gladly welcome in the lousy defense of Nebraska. The Cornhuskers have actually been pretty solid offensively, but the Scarlet Knights have a good enough defense that they should be able to slow them down at the least. The win against the spread in Week 5 marked Nebraska's first of the season. This will also be their first true road test, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. What have the Nebraska Cornhuskers done to deserve to be favored on the road? I'm sorry, but a win over Indiana doesn't change how I view this team. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights have put together subpar showings recently, but they're a competitive team that plays hard and gets after it defensively. Rutgers is 18th in total defense, 18th in rushing defense, and 29th in passing defense. Nebraska has a lot of showing and proving to do to be road favorites. Rutgers has already covered in 1 home contest this campaign, and they should do the same here. So the Rutgers Scarlet Knights to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Scarlet Knights' last 3 games have come against some of the best ranking defenses in all of college football. In their 2 games prior, when they faced defenses similar in skill to Nebraska, Rutgers averaged 44 points on over 453 yards of total offense. They might not quite reach the 40-point plateau in this one, but there should be some more opportunities for this offense to make some noise. Nebraska is coming off of a 35-point, 270 passing yard performance against Indiana. They have now scored at least 28 points in every game but won this season. They might be slowed down here against a solid Rutgers defense, but they won't be completely stopped. The over has a healthy 7-1 record in the Scarlet Knights' last 8 home games, while also going a perfect 3-0 in the Cornhuskers' last 3 trips away from home. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Houston versus Memphis. The Houston Cougars are struggling this season as they are 2-3 so far and are coming off of a 27-24 overtime home loss against the Tulane Green Wave back on Friday. Senior quarterback Clayton Tune finished the game doing well as he was 2 of 3 for 208 yards with a pair of passing touchdowns as well as running the ball 14 times for 56 yards. They have exactly a full week off with this game being played on Friday night. The Memphis Tigers are doing extremely well with a 4-1 record thus far and are on a 3-game home winning streak with all those games being played at home inside of the Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. They have won each of their previous 4 games and are coming off of a 24-3 home win back on Saturday against the Temple Owls, where sophomore quarterback Seth Hennigan did not have a big game as he was just 2 of 4 for 195 yards with a passing touchdown while also leading the team in the rushing department with 19 carries for 60 yards. Houston is 12-5 against the spread in their last 17 Friday games and 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. The over is 18-7-1 in Houston's last 26 road games. Memphis is 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 games and 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 home games. The over is 5-1 in Memphis' last 6 games. Houston is 1-6 against the spread in these 2 teams' last 7 head-to-head meetings. These teams are a lot closer to one another than their records indicate, but there is still a decent difference. The main thing is discipline, as Memphis has committed 26 total penalties throughout the year and averaging 41 yards per game, while Houston has committed 52 total penalties for an average of 90 yards per game. Turnover ratio is another key number to look at as it tells you a lot about both sides of the ball for the team. The Cougars are at 0, meaning they have the same number of giveaways and takeaways thus far, while the Tigers have a +9 turnover ratio, which says that they have 9 more takeaways than giveaways. The Tigers have covered in 6 of the previous 7 games against the Cougars. The Tigers need to recover from that tepid first half versus Temple though. Memphis eventually logged 331 yards and 22 first downs but averaged just 3.7 yards per play. The defense was solid, however. The Tigers held the Owls to just 7 first downs and a 2 of 1-6 rate on third down tries. As for Houston, they succumbed to a pretty good Tulane team with a few bad breaks along the way. The good news is that the Cougars notched a decent 383 yards and 22 first downs in the loss. Houston has struggled to start the season and was not able to start conference play with a win last week. Memphis has taken care of business this year, with the exception of a 26-point loss to Mississippi State to start the season. The Houston defense has left a lot to be desired, and this high-powered Memphis offense should have a field day. This should be a pretty interesting matchup. So the Memphis Tigers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Both of these teams play at the same pace, so I don't expect to see any drop-offs in their usual offensive production. If anything, we should see even more points as both squads are in the bottom 20 in passing yards allowed per game. Memphis averages 34.4 points per game and should at least match that total as Houston allows 34 points per game and has key injuries on defense. These offenses have both been doing extremely well throughout the season as the Cougars are averaging 31 points per game while the Tigers are scoring 34 points per game. Neither quarterback is throwing bad passes as Tune and Hennigan both have 9 passing touchdowns on the season. They will also be able to keep the defense guessing as both Houston and Memphis run the ball effectively to the point where they can do either to move the chains at an effective rate. The over has hit in 4 of their last 5 games against one another in Memphis. The Cougars will embrace the shootout. Plus, with solid weather expected in Memphis, this one ends up being a high-scoring affair for sure. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.